a few thoughts on the ethnicity of the ancient Egypt. Of course, we understand that the demographics of the modern Egypt is very diverse and very much different from the ancient past. And the identity of the ancient Egyptians still remain are controversial, uh, still remain controversial for so many people who for who deliberately refuse to accept the African identity of the ancient Egypt. The reason being that of the immense and important values that the ancient Egyptians actually provided to the world. And so that's why the identity of the ancient Egyptians still remain a debate for some people, especially some people in Europe, the European, the white people, some, not all of the European. Of course, there are a lot of European scholars who actually are historians and archaeologists who are actually professional to the core, and admit the obvious fact about the identity and the ethnicity of the ancient Egyptians. And actually, most of them are the one who did the most groundbreaking argument and scholarly work that revealed and confirmed the identity of the ancient Egyptian to be truly African. All right, but there are some other groups of European scholars and historians who claim that the identity of the ancient Egyptian with North Africa, but all of those arguments is bullshit. We learned that those scholars are Eurocentric scholars. Of course, you know that the identity of any people of Africa or African descent who have contributed something meaningful to the world always is controversial. It's always controversial. Of course, let me share the map of Africa with us. That we don't know where Africa, Egypt is. The ideas of the idea of having different races on the same continent is, of course, it's not plausible. There are excuse me, sorry. Okay. This is the map of Africa, all right? And this is where Egypt is. I'm having, okay, all right. I quickly want to share this. This is the map of Africa. Of course, Africa is a very unique landmark, about the size of Europe, United States, China, India put together. That is the size of Africa. Of course, you see Egypt here, very close to in the border of is a northeast Africa country. Of course, the people here in the southern Egypt, they are all melanated, and you see this is where Egypt is in Africa, and humanity is said to have evolved around this area, Sudan and southern Egypt. All right, so we learn how the population of how the demography of Egypt actually changed, beginning from all the various invasions that happened in Egypt that changed the demographics. But all the major achievements that was achieved in Egypt happened prior to the invasion. All right. All the foreigners, all the invaders who actually ruled Egypt for several years did not achieve any major achievement. Actually, they actually plundered the achievement already made by the native Egyptian before their arrival. All right. We know that the Roman conquered it. Before then, there were several other invaders. But before then, the pyramids, the sphinxes, the great civilization has already reached its climax. So that is one thing you have to really keep in mind. So all of those foreigners who later invaded Egypt and take over it, they didn't all of the achievements of Egypt were already achieved before their invasions. Talking about the Syria, talking about the Greeks. The Greeks actually came here to learn, came to Egypt to learn. The Romans who came, the Arabs who came, the Turks who came. Today, this part of Africa, especially the north of Africa, particularly Egypt, Morocco, Nigeria, these are mixture of some European colonizers and also some people brought from Europe during what we call the barbarian slave trade, and also the invasion by the Turks and the Arabs. That is what actually, and they intermarried with the indigenous people. This is what actually changed the demographics and the skin tone of the people living there today. But they are not the original native people. They are not native to the North Africa. White people or the Caucasian people, they are not native to North Africa. Is that you have to keep that in mind. They are not, they are foreigners and they intermarry, they are invaders. So, but I do not mean to disrespect them, but I am just stating the facts, the historical facts. Yes. Please keep that in mind because a lot of the information in the world is being programmed, is being colonized. Especially the historical information about the world is greatly colonized by the West. All right. So of course, the invaders, the conquerors, once you conquer a land, of course you have to rewrite the history in order to fit your own agenda, isn't that right? And so that is what is the information you get. But the facts still remain the same. There are a lot of undebatable and irrefutable evidence that all the indigenous North Africans, they were African, the dark skin African. We find those evidence and historical evidence in material civilization, in the evidence of material civilization, in the evidence of archaeology, in the evidence of oral in linguistics, because it shares similar languages with other part of Africa, right? And The oldest are human remains found in these North Africa, or the African, of course, in all its features. All right. So I would like us to actually develop a discussion around ancient Egyptian civilization, the ancient African civilization, because I have a research book done on the African origin of human race and civilization. So I would like us to begin to do a study and develop discussion around in this important and critical subject, because this civilization is what actually led to what we call the Western civilization. Yeah, we'll discuss this. We'll discuss it in details, and also reveal how. Yeah, we'll discuss it in details. I'll create a new video so where I can begin to actually discuss those specific details. All right, guys. I want to call it a day here. And in our subsequent meeting, we're going to discuss in depth on the contribution of the ancient African civilization to the world. So keep in your brain, don't let it take it off in your brain by the propaganda and the information everywhere. The ancient Egyptian civilization was fully indigenous African, black, dark-skinned, melanated civilization. And all the major works that the civilization of Egypt, which is full climates for foreigners who came to take over Egypt one the country. So they didn't contribute anything to Egypt, just civilization. They only came to destroy it. Keep that in your mind. All right, how are you doing?